Good morning. Brian Gould, B-R-I-A-N-G-O-U-L-D, Chief of Police. Before we go any further, I just want to take a moment to thank everybody, our community, our friends, our families, for all the support that we've been getting each and every day as we navigate this tragedy in the city of Bristol and the Bristol Police Department. On the day that we did our first press conference, I asked the community simply, we needed you. We needed your thoughts and prayers, and you have gone above and beyond, and thank you for that. It's so much appreciated as we start to get back on our feet and start to attend to our mission of protecting and serving the community of Bristol with integrity and professionalism. I want to thank the media as well for all your patience. We've been receiving a lot of requests. There's only one of me and a whole bunch of you, and so thank you for your patience, and that's one of the reasons we wanted to put together this conference today, so that we could try to get some information for what you've been asking. So thank you very much. I'll just highlight again, this investigation is still ongoing. That is not in the jurisdiction of the Bristol Police Department, so I will not be able to entertain any questions or comments about that investigation. I also want to thank all the law enforcement agencies that have stepped up, not only in the state of Connecticut, from around the entire nation, with their support, caring, love. It's been truly remarkable, and it's such a privilege to serve in this profession. And specifically to all the municipal and state police departments here in the state of Connecticut that have been helping us with our operations. As you know, when this happened, we had to bring our operations to a halt here in Bristol, and we really have relied on and are continuing to rely on our other municipalities and state police coming in to help and protect and serve in our community. And they've been doing a great job, and I can't thank them enough for that. We can't do this alone, and we're seeing that we're not alone. We're seeing that from all of you, the community, and all of our fellow law enforcement and first line responders. Very appreciative. As we move forward, we have to rebuild. We have had a critical injury to our agency, and now we have to continue to move forward. And that requires healing, and the wellness of our officers is of top priority. We often hear terms about heroes and such. Unquestionably, these people that serve on the front lines are truly heroes. But one thing that they are not is that superheroes. Superheroes are fictional and denotes that you have special powers and abilities, faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive, able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. I think you get the point. That's not real. They're human beings. So they're out there, and they're truly remarkable and amazing that they're getting back in the saddle and going out what they took their oath and swore to do without these superpowers and while they're grieving. So I'm very appreciative of the men and women of the Bristol Police Department for everything they're doing and have been doing and will continue to do on a daily basis. With that, our operations, we've had to make some adjustments so that we can continue to protect and serve on the front lines. Reallocating personnel, moving from support positions into patrol positions. And one of the things we're going to need to do is we're going to need to hire quality police officers, and we need to do it very quickly. It takes about a year to hire a new officer once they get through their academy training, once they get through their FTO training and such. And our focus right now is on certified police officers. We're putting out a call to action. We need quality certified police officers. And I'll be working very closely with the mayor, who's been very supportive, and city council, our police commission, and all the other stakeholders in our community to put together packages so that we can recruit and attract qualified, certified police officers to help us fill our ranks. Certified officer, once they're hired, we can get them up and running in anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks, maybe even less than that, depending on their experience. So with that, Thank you again for all your love, support, and caring. Thank you to all the first responders. Thank you to the family here at Bristol. We appreciate everybody. Please don't forget the families of our fallen and our hero officer that is recovering, who's doing very well, by the way. We appreciate you very much. And with that, I'll turn it over to the mayor, and then we'll try to answer some questions for you. Sir?
Thank you. My first thank you is, I guess, thank God that I can serve with a great police chief. He has done an amazing job through the most trying times and the most unthinkable tragedies. So you've done a great job, Chief Gould. I really appreciate that. I also want to thank the Bristol community. The outpouring of just sympathy, grief, and the need to help has been truly astounding. Most of you came up here, and if people haven't seen it, the media will definitely point it out to you that the memorial that's been growing downstairs is just remarkable. People want to do something, and people want to help, and we love that supportive service. I'm going to talk a little bit about some of those things that have been done, and then I'm going to try to hope that I can push the community and the greater community of Connecticut and maybe across this country to stay focused on keeping this alive and moving this positive energy forward. The first comment I will make, though, just to echo the chief's comments, is the need for police officers is obviously very pressing to us here in Bristol, but this is actually a statewide and a national problem. So I do hope that one silver lining from this tragic event will be that we have more people get involved in protecting and serving our community. It's one of the highest honors that we have, and I'm very proud of all of our officers and all of our first responders across the board. So out front, we saw a lot of visual reminders, letters, notes from children, people bringing flowers. We know that that's an important part of the healing process for the community, and we want that to continue. We have seen food, literally food, come in here, 3 or 4 days worth of food every day for our police officers here, and we love that kind of support. I'll talk a little bit later on how we can harness some of that. The real big update that I did want to give today is the financial update, and I wanted to reiterate to everybody there are 2 major funds that are approved by our Bristol Police Department where funds can go to help these families. And there's been a lot of other ancillary things that have been done, from Tunnels to Towers to the Greg Hill Show in Boston and others. All of these funds and all of the money that's coming in is going to be directed through those 2 major funds. The first is Fund the First. That's been up and running through the Benevolent Police Association for 11 days. Mark that number, 11 days. To date, there's $515,955 that's been donated to that fund, and that's obviously coming from all across the country. Tremendous support, and that needs to keep coming. The second major fund that we want to make sure people know about is called the Bristol Police Heroes Fund. There is a brand new link up there that people can look up. It's thomastonsavingsbank.com/heroes. That fund in the bank right now is $310,000. I believe that we're probably approaching $1 million with all the funds that are out there, and I'll tell you, a quick story here, and this tells me how engaged the community is about this, and really just is something that makes my heart melt in this all-heart city, which is a great thing. So I received a check in the mayor's office that hasn't been deposited yet, a personal check from a gentleman in Old Saybrook for $30,000. That's a personal check for $30,000. That's amazing. On the other side, we were at the wake just a week ago today for Hamzy, and a gentleman came in, and he was not fully dressed for a wake, to be very honest. Looked like he was a man down on his luck, and he looked at me and he said, "Where's the donation place?" And our donation at that point was set up at the police department down here. And we said, "Well, these are cards for the family." That's right there. Took something out of his pocket, put it under the cards, and walked out. I picked up the cards and found a crinkled up dollar bill. And I know in my heart that was probably the last dollar that gentleman had for that day. And I understand the need for people to give and to support. And it was truly moving to me, and I need to see that support continue throughout the community and throughout the state. It was just a tremendous thing. By the way, went right away and delivered it to the police station at 9:30 that night and put it right into the basket, and people have been coming in nonstop doing that. So that's great. We've gotten a ton of questions from the community. How are we going to memorialize this? How are we going to take this momentum forward? And next week, we actually had to postpone our police commission meeting, obviously because of these events, but we're going to have a special meeting next week, and we are going to put together a subcommittee that is going to take people from mainly the police commission, but also from other city departments, to make sure that we put a subcommittee together to take all of the energies that have come together and make sure that we memorialize these fallen officers in the most appropriate way. So there's a lot of suggestions coming in. We want to continue those suggestions. You can send those in through the mayor's office. You can also go through the Bristol, Connecticut Police Department Facebook page. There'll probably be links set up on their web page. We're going to put a Google Doc out there, and we just want the ideas to keep coming in. There's been so many of them, and we'll take our time and vet them and do the right thing for all of them. The last thing that I do want to say is that we need to coordinate efforts. I'm going to give you one simple one. It's the food thing. We've actually given a lot of food to our shelters that comes in through the police department, because we got to keep these officers in shape. They can't eat all that food, so we're sending the extra food out. But if people have ideas or they want to put together a benefit or fundraise or offer food, we just ask that you check with us in the mayor's office or the Bristol Police Department on a non-emergency line, and we can coordinate that and keep that going. The other thing that many of the media probably saw coming in here, and certainly the people of Bristol see, that right now I would guesstimate that if you drive around in the evening hours or early morning hours and you see blue lights out there, there's 50% of the town is blue lights right now. You can't get blue lights locally. There's blue Christmas lights. There's ways to do this. You can order online. I'm not going to plug any one company, but we all know where we can get blue lights. I hope that we light the city of Bristol blue right through the holidays, and I love to see 80 to 90% participation, and I hope that goes across the state and the rest of the country as well. So that's all for me. Thank you very much.
Chief,
Sir.
you talked about recruiting. What is your sworn force now, and how many new officers do you think you need?
So, great question, thank you. Our sworn force, we have an allocation of 122 sworn, and at our current levels, we are at approximately 90 deployable at the moment. Now, that doesn't mean that we're missing officers out of our ranks. That means we have officers that are currently in the police academy. We have other officers that are out on maybe a long-term injury leave, but they're not deployable for us at the moment. We need deployable officers. I'm going to be looking for anywhere from a minimum of 10, 15 to 20 officers.
Up to 20 officers?
Yes, sir. And that's what I'm going to be working on very hard with our stakeholders here in the city. One of the things I'm looking to do is overhire so that we can keep up with any attrition rates, because I'm certainly not going to allow us to get up to staffing just to go backwards. So that's going to be one of my big pushes. Thank you for the question.
Next question is Officer Iarato. He is recovering. Do you expect him to return to the force anytime soon?
Officer Iarato is a true hero, and I know he can't wait to come back. So he's recovering, and I think we're going to see him back rather quickly. In fact, I'm probably going to have to be putting the brakes on him to make sure that he gets well. If he had it his way, he'd be in here right now.
Chief, do you expect him to go back on patrol anytime soon, or would he be working in-house for a while?
So we would definitely start off in-house for a while. It depends on really how long his injury takes to recover. Anytime you're out of the patrol division for that long, we always have to kind of work your way back in. Maybe policies have changed, laws have changed and such. So there'll be an ease-in process. And of course, his number one is his well-being, his mental well-being as well.
How's his
So,
injury? Physical injuries.
He's doing very well. You know, I don't know if you saw, but he was honored with walking in the honor flag at the funeral on Friday, and he did it without his crutches. You know, so he's a true, he's very committed, and he will persevere.
Chief, we're talking a lot about, you mentioned it yourself, officer wellness.
Yes.
And making sure that these officers begin their healing process. It's been an unbelievably difficult week and a half. What's happening internally here at the police department to make sure that officers are healing, that they are feeling well after just such a traumatic event?
That's a great question. Thank you. So we have a whole bunch of peer support teams in our department. If you were to walk in right now, you're going to see civilians, physicians, members of other police departments that are part of peer support groups inside the department right now. They've just been deployed in there. They're meeting with our officers. We have our own employee assistance program here through the city. We're utilizing everything and anything we can. We're doing critical incident stress debriefings. We're all working together to identify who needs help, who needs more help. Officer wellness is a top priority. And as you know, with any trauma, it could be the day of, it could be the day later, it could be 6 months from now. So this is going to be an ongoing process, and it's all about our peer support teams and utilizing everything, right down to having, you know, we've had dogs coming into the department, our therapy dogs, anything we can, and I am certainly open to anything more to get these officers well.
And have you heard from officers already eager to join the force
Yes,
here?
yes, it's truly amazing. So I won't able to ever say this enough. All three of those officers, and Alex and Dustin, incredibly just wonderful human beings, caring, loving, and there is no doubt that has been contagious, and I believe that's why the community and everybody else is turning out the way they did and are continuing to do so. Incredibly brave as well, and I think their actions have put a call to action out, and I've absolutely been approached, you know, whether it be through you know, writings or personal conversations from people who are saying, I've always wanted to do this job, just never committed to it, and this has changed my direction, and you'll be seeing my application. So I think it has sparked an interest, and that's wonderful.
As for the memorial out front, for either the mayor or the police chief, how long do you envision the memorial being there for the public, for the officers, for everyone to enjoy?
Yeah, I think the grieving process is different for everybody, as I talked about in my speech on Friday. So I would anticipate that we'll probably be a couple more weeks that are out there. There is that movable statue that came from New York City, the St. Michael statue, that's absolutely beautiful. In some ways, I hope it stays here forever because it moves from officer-involved death to different places. But this is part of what we're going to talk about in our subcommittee that will be formed quickly. I can tell you already that there are flowers that are being saved, and every single day there's 3 ladies here, Public Works and the police the police administrative staff, that are changing those flowers out. They're taking those flowers, they're saving them, they're preserving them. We have a streetscape that will get built out front. We're in the middle of a downtown revitalization, and all of that streetscape needs to get done. We'll have benches that are made from some of this stuff. We will hopefully take some of the flowers and put it into the streetscape, and so we're trying to be thoughtful about that. So much of this has been just organic, and so I couldn't give you an exact day or time that it's going to stop, but I'm still amazed every evening when I'm leaving a meeting. I'll see 4 or 5 people out there coming from all over. So we're going to do what we have to do to make sure that the community heals.
And for both you, Chief, and you, Mayor, how are you doing?
Oh, that's a great question. Mayor, if you want to go first, then I'll follow up.
Yeah, I'm following his lead. I have never seen somebody be so strong. You guys can tell I'm a pretty emotional guy. I have grieved for, it's literally 2 weeks now. It's been the hardest thing that I've ever gone through. But I think I'm personally being strong for the city. I'm ready to move forward, and I have great hope and vision for this great big small town. So doing well. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the question. You know, I echo that. You know, very, very blessed to have wonderful support groups. I want to thank my brother and sisters who are part of the Connecticut Police Chiefs Association, who have been, you know, riding along as well and helping me out. There's been a tremendous outpouring of caring from so many different people and helping us all to get through this. But my number one concern is for the men and women of the Bristol Police Department, for the families, and for our community here. So it's there's no choice but to have resolve and get through this. That's what these people all deserve, and that's going to be the priority. But thank you for asking. Appreciate it.
One last question. Where do we direct people who are interested in becoming officers?
That's a great question. So we have all our applications are done through the City of Bristol. All they need to do is get onto the City of Bristol official webpage, go to our human resources or job apps. You can sign up as well on job app, which will notify you, and you can apply right through the internet there. And also for those who want to fill out, can come down to City Hall to the Personnel Human Resource Department and fill out applications.
Chief, no one has a chance against these assault weapons, which are banned in the state. Are you concerned that there's still too many out there?
So, you know, I'm going to reserve comments for that to find out what the overall investigation shows, so that I'm 100% confident on what exactly happened. And you'll be hearing more about all that once the investigation details come out.
Chief,
Thank you.
I know you can't comment on the
Yeah.
investigation itself, but since this happened, has there been any change in, I guess, training for your officers, what you tell them about how they respond to these types of calls?
So we have to do a complete debrief of what happened, and a lot of that debriefing is going to come out of what the investigation showed. At this point, what I know, that there was nothing that they could do at that moment. They were completely ambushed. There were 3 officers on scene to go to a family violence incident, which there was no identifiable threats that we knew of at that moment. So that's all stuff that we have to debrief and look on. So we have not made any changes at that point, because we can't make changes without knowing what we have to change. That's all I can comment on this time.
Thank you.
And I think we have time for maybe just one more question here.
Gentlemen, for both
Yeah.
of you, Sergeant Hamsey's father-in-law had very powerful words to share at the funeral, denouncing rhetoric and divisiveness and anti-police sentiments in this country. What has the last 2 weeks of community support shown you, and what do you want people to know about the men and women who wear the badge?
Yeah. Let me start with that one and just say that with an incident like this, a lot of emotion comes out. And, you know, Jeff Scott was directly involved with the funeral process. He's a funeral director. And so we are going to hear emotional pleas from people. And I think the message out there is hope, grace. We need to move forward and get all of the information together before, as the chief said, to start making assumptions or you know, moving beyond it. It's a political season right now too, so it's a difficult time, and I think we'll hear a lot out there. I think both of us will reserve comments on some of those grounds to let those things work out, and everybody heals differently. So I think those are my comments on that. I don't know if you have anything else to add.
No, I think
Yeah.
the community's already showing us what we want to know about these officers. You know, from the story the mayor told about possibly the last dollar bill to cards and people doing, you know, hand sketches of our officers. That's beautiful, and that's what we're seeing from our community. So their message to us is loud and clear, especially here in the city of Bristol, that they support their police department, and we support them. And we're privileged to serve on those front lines here in Bristol, and we're very thankful to them. Thank you.
All right, thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thank you all very much.